Hey, I'm Dr. Pilet, and I want to talk to you about this idea of love. Love. You know, if it wasn't for people being out of love and seeking for some type of help, counseling, or going to a minister or something, then we probably wouldn't really notice that whole idea of being in love, because it's when you're out of love and you're hurt and you can't sleep and you can't eat, then you look for help. I, as a professional therapist, can tell you very seldom do I get a client that's not in my front door because they're hurting. They're hurting because someone that they thought was their partner for life through commitment. Commitment, I define commitment as I'll spare no emotional energy to problem solve that we may stay together. I will spare no energy. I'll do anything it takes so that we can problem solve to stay together. And yet, when I see a client that has big feelings of betrayal, huge feelings of, I can't believe you left me. I can't believe you're not here. They're there to talk to me because they want the hurt to go away. They want the hurt to go away. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit because the average client that comes in to see me, and they say to me right at the beginning, they say, you know, hey doc, I'm in love. My first response mentally is, no you're not. That's my first thought. You're going to think to yourself, well, gosh, how can a therapist say to himself, self-talk, no, you're not, when the client is saying, yes, I am? Because I think all of us expect for the person you're talking to try to put himself in your shoes, try to see it from your point of view. The problem is right now we have an epidemic. We have an epidemic where people are emotionally bonded to what they believe to be a suitable partner, when in fact they haven't done their homework to find out, is that person truly available to be emotionally bonded to me? And I like to give this little bit of a story because I think you can sort of see it in your mind's eye. But there's this guy who's in a relationship with a person, and it really wasn't a long courtship. They didn't know each other. And after 4 or 5 months, she leaves. She's gone. Now, we don't know anything other than it seemed to be working out for a while. Things were really great. Great sex. We had lots of fun. We enjoyed movies, music. But in 90 days, 120 days, I go home and she's gone. Now he's grieving because he can't understand. She won't answer phone calls, text messaging, and for some unexplained reason, he's got this huge emptiness inside. Got that? So he's hurting, but he's shut out. Now, as he's going through his day-to-day business, going out on Friday nights with his friends, there's this other woman who is now after him. And I like to kind of say it to you this way. When that person, that woman, is going to him, approaching him with the potential of being a partner, and that person is making him again feel loved and feel wanted and feeling like you're Mr. Right, then I talk to you guys and I say, hey, look, I'm over her. The first one, I'm over her, it's done. Because guess what? I found someone I truly love. And from his standpoint, as he sees the new person enter his life, it all looks good. From our standpoint, as we see him going into a second relationship, we have a different perspective. See, because we see the girl that's pursuing him as racing to him, saying, I love you, I want you, you're the solution to my life, my God, you're the best thing in the world for me. But from our perspective, she's not running to him, she's running away from the other relationship that wasn't working. From his perspective, she must love me. She calls me, she wants to spend the night, she wants to do things with me, I feel secure, I feel wanted, I feel like this is absolutely the best thing that's ever happened to me. But we on the outside say, well, there's two problems with where you are. Number one, your soul was just empty of love and you were yearning for something good to come in your life. It's like being hungry and going to the grocery store. You ever do that? You ever go shopping at the grocery store when you're hungry? So you fill the cart with everything. Things that you've never ate, you're going to try it because why not? I'm hungry. Anything might taste good. So he's already got this empty void inside. And the empty void is, I'm lonely. I don't like being alone. I don't understand what happened to the past relationship. Why is this happening to me? And so now as we got this emptiness inside, this vacuum, and this other person this needy person that is now after me. Well, we on the outside see, number one, as I said, you're already empty and you're hurting and you're isolating a little bit and you're not really trying very hard to meet new people because you're blue and you're depressed and you don't feel good about yourself. But then we see that other person who's absolutely all over you. Now, from our perspective, it's not that you're that good. Why? Well, you can't be that good. You're depressed. You know, your ego's shot. You're feeling low. You're not at your peak. And all of your friends know that too. So they're trying to love, but oh my God, mistakes happen. And boy, is that a bigger problem. The issue also, finally, not just of disclosing or problem solving or collaborative or positive, being collaborative or having positive sexuality, also has with this idea of commitment. A lot of people are scared of commitment. Scared of it. Commitment. Remember I said, I'll spare no emotional energy to problem solve with me, stay together? Commitment. I had last week, man in this class, been living together 15 years. 2 kids. Oh, you married? Oh, no, not ready for that. Not ready for it. Oh my God. I don't know. What do you mean? We have this thing called family. The kids look at you as father, look at mom as mother. We are in a family. And, well, are you committed to your kids? Oh, absolutely. 100%. Both of them? Oh, yeah. And you're not committed to your partner that you are cohabitating with? You know, I'm just not sure to make that final step. Oh my God. Commitment. So as I've gone through, what does it take for there to be a love relationship? And I'll go back through a few of them. You got to have in your heart the ability to be committed. Did that man in the first example have the ability to be committed? No, he was still a hostage to the broken relationship. Did the woman that pursued him have an ability to be committed? No, she's still a hostage to the broken relationship. They ran to each other to bolster each other up to make it through because neither one of them could stand up on themselves. Okay? You have to have some idea of commitment, some idea of how do I live with another person, how do I co-labor with another person, how do I problem solve. Remember, not talking about it, that doesn't do anything. The red light's on your dashboard, but you don't pull over. You're driving all over town, red light's on the dashboard, but you don't pull over. But then you're surprised when all of a sudden the engine blows up. No. Problem solve. Problem solving. What problem am I solving that we may stay together? Collaboration. How do we labor to stay together? Positive sexuality. Sex should never exceed the relationship. Shared emotional identity. God, that's so important for a love relationship to exist. I have pictures behind me of my family. What I'm showing to you is my emotional identity is also connected to my family. And when you see pictures of all of us, that's who I am. The idea that in your heart, in your internal spiritual person, you have now given yourself to a greater calling, and that greater calling is no longer you, but it's also the mother of your children, which I ask in some cases for you to say it's my wife, and my children, because that's what an emotional identity is. And there's 2 more things you have to think about if, in my mind, we're going to call it a love relationship. One is between you and your partner, you should have a vision of the future. You know, when I got a guy that's been together 15 years and still not willing to take that step, where do you want to be in 30 years or 20 years? Or where do you want to be in 2 years from now? Where do you picture this going? Understand, I don't necessarily believe you've got to be legally married, but can you be spiritually married? Is that okay? Can you call all those people together that you know and love, and in the face of all of them and in the presence of just them, don't have a justice of the peace. Don't go down to the courthouse. But to all those people, give an oath together, a bond to show that, yes, we do in fact plan on staying together. That's good. That to me constitutes an emotional marriage. And then finally, the last thing I think is so important for you guys to have a love relationship. And maybe this is a little bit too advanced, but I believe you should have a shared spiritual reality. Do you believe in God? That's a big question, because I've got people right now, one particular couple I'm thinking about, where he has no intentions of ever believing that there is a big G in this world, big God. And she was raised in a very, very strict fundamentalist world. and for them to stay together, him being agnostic, her being very devout Christian, has been really challenging. Because the truth is, these are things you must resolve when we talk about raising the kids. You know, a lot of our holidays are Christian holidays. Christmas, Easter. The idea that we have a cultural connection to some church, synagogue, some spiritual entity. We got to resolve these issues. So my last and final thing, as you think about this notion of am I in love, is the idea that have we resolved this notion of God in our life, and do we have an agreement on this? Okay? I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a lecture about what love is. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but I'll tell you there was a time in my life when I was breaking up with somebody years and years ago, and I really hadn't thought about it. Am I in love? And if I had heard this and applied it to that hurt years ago, I would have realized the hurt I was feeling was because my emotional bond that I connected, that I gave with that person was really, really strong. But that there was very few of the criteria for it to be a love relationship. And when I look back at that time in my life to realize that my self-talk was, oh, I'm in love. And people would say, well, love heals all wounds. People would say, well, if you really love her, keep trying because you'll win her back. And yet, when I did this little bit of a dissection and took that relationship out and looked at the components, it wasn't love. It was companionship sought during an empty time in my life when I didn't like being alone. And it didn't work. So it really helped me 30 years ago to stop my self-talk and stop using that word, because it really was causing more damage as it put me into making this idea of continually try to resolve a problem that was unresolvable. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed it.